It's the moment the families of these three young women have waited for more than a decade. Megan Waterman, Amber Costello and Melissa Barthelemy, their lives taken from them in their 20s. Arrested as he sauntered up Fifth Avenue near his Midtown Manhattan office, 59-year-old architect and married father of two, Rex Heuermann, today stands charged with their murders. He's also being investigated in relation to the murder of Maureen Brainerd Barnes. The four women were found along this stretch of Long Island's Gilgo Beach in 2010, each 500 metres apart.
They were buried in a similar fashion, at a similar location, in a similar way. All the women were petite. They all did the same thing for a living. They all advertised the same way, and there were immediately similarities with regard to the crime scenes.
Prosecutors say Heuermann met his alleged victims, sex workers at the time of their deaths, through Craigslist. First identified as a suspect in March last year, his pickup truck had been spotted by a witness who described the driver as an ogre. This year, DNA from a pizza box he threw into a bin on Fifth Avenue matched hair found on one of the victims. And burner phones last in contact with Megan, Amber, Melissa and Maureen were linked by police to the Massapequa Park area, where Heuermann lived with his wife and two children. Police say he often used burner phones and was carrying one at the time of his arrest.
In a 14-month period, he had over 200 searches pertaining to the Gilgo investigation. Not only was he looking at investigative insight, he was trying to figure out how is the task force using cell phones to try to figure out what's happening.
Suffolk County prosecutors say this case isn't the end, but the beginning of an investigation into a string of murders linked to Gilgo Beach. These women were just 4 of 11 bodies, some unidentified, found along this remote stretch of highway between 2010 and 11, including a mother and toddler. And with questions swirling over who killed and left them there are questions too about why it took so long for police to investigate. The victims' families saying they'd failed to take interest because some of them were sex workers.
You're saying that they have two
In 2011, Megan Waterman's mother, who recently died, spoke to CNN about the murder of her 22-year-old daughter.
Do you think this case has been given the attention it deserves by police?
You want my honest opinion?
Yeah.
No.
Yesterday, her sister told them the delay means Megan's daughter, just 3 when she was murdered, will have to relive her death.
I hope that the federal agencies recognize that these sex trafficking victims are victims and they act much faster than they did in this situation. So I just hope that there's some advocacy that comes out of this, because 13 years is far too long. She really was a fabulous person.
Heuermann's lawyer entered a not guilty plea at the Suffolk County Court in New York State, dismissing the prosecutor's evidence.
I will say to you folks that it's extremely circumstantial in nature. In terms of speaking to my client, the only thing I can tell you that he did say as he was in tears was, "I didn't do this." We obviously don't have any evidence. This is the beginning of the case. Everybody is presumed innocent in our country.
There's still so much we don't know about what happened here on this beach, how many victims and whom's. But today, their families are closer to the answers so many years in the seeking.